What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Josh Reese back at it again with another video. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe and we'll get right into it. So today I wanted to talk about personal statements for graduate school. It's something I don't think is discussed enough. It's something that can really make you stand out, and it's something that a lot of schools will use as their opportunity to set you apart from other people. So what the personal statement really is it depends on school to school what you need to provide on it, right? So most schools will just, it's not as open-ended as tell me about yourself. But for example, for optometry school, it was tell me about the history, aptitudes, experiences, and something else, can't really quite remember it exactly, that you have had that have prepared you for a career as an optometrist. And so it's kind of thinking as if you were already an optometrist, what led you to make the decision to, go down this path. And so really they're pretty wide open, and you can go any direction with them. And so a lot of people don't know where to start. And so my first advice is read example personal statements. So go, Google it. There's some that are really good that are just right there on Google that you can find. And so you can, whether or not it's for the same school as you, that's okay. And if you can't find any that you quite like or any that are specific enough for you, go talk to a career advisor or, your pre-professional advisor at your college or school, and look for example ones. And if you don't have a career advisor or something, you could even reach out to an optometry school and say, hey, can you email me some example personal statements? And I'm sure that the advisor or the person on the acceptance committee will be more than happy to just send you a few of the personal statements that stood out to them this last application cycle. And so really, I want you to read at least, 4 or 5 really good personal statements that inspire you. So you can kind of get why you would write one, what they accomplish, and kind of get an idea for what experiences or things that you've had in your life that you can turn into a story. And really that's all it is it's your story. The second part is, I'd say, make it about you. Don't make it super generic, close your eyes, open your eyes. Without your eyes, you can't see. Take a moment to realize how important your eyes are to you, and that's why they're so important to me. That's super, super generic and really doesn't tell them anything about you. Yes, you want to have some good prose, some good writing style as you go through it, but not at the expense of having it be unoriginal. So really just make it about you. Tell your story. From at this age I had this happen, it impacted me like this. My future career goals for optometry are to do this, this, and this. Really, I want to help this type of people. I want to specialize in this. This is what motivates me. This is an experience I had that molded me into thinking a certain way that would be good as an optometrist, right? These are experiences I've had with on-the-job training, with an optometrist that I've worked for, that I can bring to the table this. They really want you to stand out as a person. It's not a time to restate your GPA, restate your OAT scores, just list all of your achievements and all of your extracurriculars again. But it is a time to use those to tell a story. It's really, really important that you stand out as a person and that they can really look forward to the interview, right? Because that's one really important thing is when they, look at your personal statement, they really should get an idea of who they are looking for. And if you fit that mold at all, they're going to be really excited to meet you in the interview. And I know some interviews are closed book, they don't see your application, but some of them were open book. And I remember one of the open book interviews that I had, it was at Midwestern. One of the faculty was talking to me, and they said, hey, I saw in your personal statement that you were really interested in opening a bilingual practice and working with some minorities. And it really stood out to them because it was in Midwestern in Arizona, and there's a large Hispanic community there, and they were just a little impressed by that, and they got to see a little bit of my personality and a little bit of what I wanted to do. And so not saying that you have to be perfect or the same as that, but you want to stand out like that. You want to give them a kind of a sense of going into the interview, who are you? Is this person really who they say they are? Don't make up some fictitious things. Don't say, oh, I've always been passionate about optometry when it's a recent thing. You want to tell your story and have it be really genuine to who you are. So the next thing I'd really say is be ready to trash it, right? Go ahead, write all your thoughts down. It's okay if it's way less or way more than the word count needs to be, and send it to people who know you. Send it to people who are optometrists. Well, personally, I sent it to a few different people. I talked to my pre-optometry advisor, or I think she's just a healthcare advisor. She read it and made her revisions and told me what worked, what didn't, what things to go for, what things to make sure I mention, because she's, I've been working with her for a few years in my application process, so she kind of knew what my goals were and stuff, and she made a lot of good, really important points that I wanted to make sure come across. The next person I did was someone around my age. So mine was my wife, who I've read some of her essays, and they are fantastic. So I knew she was really good at writing. And so she was able to pick it apart, and she knows me really well, and she knows what's genuine, and she was able to really help me through that. And then the next person I sent it to was my sister, who was an English teacher. And so she really picked it apart with some sentences that weren't really good, have it flow well. That's one thing that you do not want to mess up on, is if there's a bunch of grammatical errors in your personal statement, you're kind of done for, right? They give you as much time as you need to submit your application. Do not just put one together and send it in. You want to make sure your, English is clear and that it's concise and that, it's well written. So those were the three people I had to look at it. And then I reworked it with all of their feedback, sent it back to them again, reworked it, sent it back to each of them again. And it was really nice to have a few perspectives. And one thing, advice I'd give on people revising it is, it's still your paper. Don't let them take over it. Don't think that every single piece of feedback they give you have to apply. I know it was really hard to try to do all of the English corrections and all of the optometry corrections. All right, that's one thing is my sister, who is the English teacher, did not understand a few of the words that I was using, and so she told me to try to say it a different way, but that was one of the pre-optometry advisor's favorite parts, was that I knew what I was talking about with optometry and that I sounded educated. And so, find your balance, but you still do want to, not sacrifice, right, showing off some of the optometry knowledge that you have, maybe using a few trigger words if some things that are specific to optometry. Make sure to go out and use them, right? Kind of try to blow them off their feet with what you know and how prepared you are for optometry school. So revise. And then really the last thing that you want to do for your personal statement is you want to make sure that it reads like a story. You do not want it to be just a 5-paragraph essay about who you are, right? You want to kind of take them through your life and walk them through your experience. Make sure you follow the prompt. I know the prompt changes a little bit every year, but answer every point of the prompt. You don't want to talk about something else. You really want to walk it through. They want it to be a story. They want it to be readable. You want to just show off who you are in the best way that you are, and really know what you're trying to accomplish with it. They already have your OAT score, they already have your GPA, they have every extracurricular you've done, they've had where you worked, right? They have your letters of recommendation. Let this be your letter of recommendation for yourself, right? Recommend yourself to them as an optometry school student. Make yourself seem like the kind of person who will be a great doctor in the future, and make yourself seem like the kind of person they know will succeed not only in optometry school, but will succeed in life. Just show yourself off. And those are my advice to anyone writing a personal statement for optometry school this summer coming up. And I guess this could also apply to any personal statement. You don't want to have it be too rushed, right? You want to take your time on it because it can be really important. I know some people have had terrible grades, terrible everything, but their personal statement they were really able to stand out, and they were ultimately able to get into optometry school. So that's my advice. Go ahead and smash the like button and comment any other questions you have down below. Thanks.